Okay, the demons that attack this body um, are very stupid beings. They're incredibly stupid, and I tell them this all the time, how stupid they are. Um, they always ask the same questions. You know, when am I going to get either fixed or killed? And I tell them, and then they say, well, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Why, why is it that nothing happens? And day after day, nothing happens. And, this body gets attached, attacked. What they do is when I have an intention to say a word, they go in through the body and they change the words. But most of the words are coming out right. Because in the end, they do want to hear what I have to say. It's just that they get a secret pleasure from changing my words and blocking me from saying what I want to say. They're the ones that asked for this particular video. But the question is, how do you deal with demonic entities? And the answer is, it's a big Jesus thing for a lot of people. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus is going to come. Or it's Archangel Michael or, the other archangels that are going to come and help you. For me, it ain't. It's true that through different procedures, we consider many different ways to clear entities. And some entities clear different ways. But if you've got a really big, bad demonic who they're not going to be removed by calling on Jesus or getting a priest, because that's not their nature. It's a fallacy to say that the demonic are religious. And what does it really prove? It doesn't prove anything. The demonic, as I say, they're incredibly dumb beings in the end. A lot of them got their abilities because in past lives they were studying things that you might consider spiritual in certain ways, but a lot of things that they studied in these past lives had to do with how to get superpowers. Is it difficult for me to tell you how to get superpowers? Most of you, if you hear about how they got superpowers, you go, this person's insane. Yes, and that's why they are demonic, because they are absolutely, beyond certifiably insane. Because a rational person, a normal person, would never go through what they go through in order to get the powers that they get. In a nutshell, how did they get the powers to do things like, be a poltergeist in your house? You know what a poltergeist is? It's just like the movie Poltergeist. It's a ghost that can go and rattle objects in your house and make noises and turn on taps and flush toilets. Other kinds of demons, how did they get to put their voice into a body so you can hear it? How did they move objects? How did they do anything? It is because in past lives they spent years and years and years and years of doing certain things. Do they all know? There's so many myriads and myriads of different ways to get what they got. These powers that they use for evil. And you have to be incredibly dedicated. So, they might spend 50 years in order to get this power. And it's all because of focused intention. Focused intention. And if you spent 50 years with, that's all you did. You sat in your house and you focused on your attention on a certain thing. So the demon wants to know, what about mantras? Could be. I don't think it's really mantras. I think it's just the focus of the mind. It's the focus. I mean, people know that, like Olympic gymnasts, for example, focus so hard on their training And, not everyone makes it to Olympic level. So it means that even if you have the spirit that wants to be an Olympic gymnast, if you're not gifted with the perfect body for it, you're probably not going to make it. There's also the possibility that the being that is haunting you or a house or a cemetery or something has got allies. Demons team up. And this is why in the Bible, when Jesus talked to the demons that he sent into the pigs that ran into the sea, they said, our name is Legion. Legion is a name from old Roman times. A Roman legion is a large group of soldiers that work together. So, yeah, demons tend to hang out with demons. Do demons fight each other? Yes. Demons fight each other more than they fight humans because demons, the reason that they exist is because they're huge ego people. So if you think of humans that have huge egos, just obnoxious people that you don't like to be around, this is the nature of this kind of a person who becomes a demon once they're dead. They spend a whole lifetime in hate, and they use the focus of their mind to focus on their hate. And anyone can do this. I mean, if you can focus to become anything in life, that's why people say you just got to keep intending it and keep working at it and keep working at it. And if a hateful person works a whole lifetime on their hate and focuses their attention on their hate, and a lot of the things are really dumb. A lot of the things that they do are really dumb and they're not gonna work. But the most powerful demonics probably spent multiple lifetimes, not just one lifetime, but lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. No one knows how many times that they would live in a human life and focus on their intention and to get the city powers. These city powers are real. Siddhi. It's written about in the Yogic Sutras of Patanjali, which comes from India. It's been known for thousands of years that these kind of psychic things are real. And the demonics, a real demonic is different than a dead person that just maybe was unable to figure it out and became an earthbound spirit. Some of them, all they need is the presence of the aura of someone who is positively oriented, someone whose aura is well developed in a positive fashion. It's enough to overcome the highly negative aura of somebody who's like, an earthbound spirit, and that can free them from the earthbound nature because it lifts them into a higher state of consciousness. And in the higher states of consciousness, they feel good and they don't want to go back to being miserable because these kind of demons, they're not demons. I see they're getting into my words. I'm terribly sorry, but I am battling demons all the time, just so you know. But these earthbound spirits, once they get their consciousness raised into a feeling of feeling good, they're happy to go. And where they go, it's mostly going to be another realm. The demons that I'm fighting, they're a different nature. And their nature is they're very good at mimicking, and they're very good at expressing their intention. It's like in Bewitched, those witches. But if you think of if you remember, it's an old movie, an old TV series. And in the TV series, they could snap their fingers and magic would happen. This is the kind of demon that has got that kind of power. They basically snap their fingers and stuff happens because they've got lots of allies in other realms. So you're not just dealing with people that are in our earth realm. You're dealing with people who are in other realms where they've got abilities. And so some of them team up with these other beings in other realms, and they work together to cause a great deal of shit. What is it that they really want? Why don't they go to a realm where they're disabled? That's mostly the job of a light worker. And a light worker, mm, I think the thing is that you're a light worker because you're just thrown into it. You just fall into it because they're going to come find you. Because that's the first thing that these demons like to do is they like to get intelligence. They like to know. They're thinking of the guy from Israel. They're not going to give me the name. In other words, they use their intention to put an idea in my head of what they want, and then they hold back on the name. But there was a famous psychic that was from Israel. He was famous for things like spoon bending. So they're very impressed by human psychics that can do things. And it's true that the demonic love people who have read and watched horror movies. Because if you do read Stephen King and you go and you watch a lot of horror movies, um, these kind of things are, would they attack you anyway? No, it just makes you more interesting because you're already familiar with these things. If you took somebody who was like a nun who was in a monastery, would they go after? Oh yes, oh yes, because the nun is seeking. I don't think nuns really seek higher consciousness, but they're seeking what they call God, which is whatever a religious nun thinks God is, and it's very distorted because nuns are Roman Catholic, and Roman Catholicism is a very distorted religion. It's a horrible religion. But if you are a nun and you've spent a lifetime in a monastery, being very austere and spending your time focused on Roman Catholicism. I mean, people know the stories about what the nuns were like. We don't have a nun run schools anymore, but people in past generations went to the nuns for schooling, and the nuns were brutal to children. Just brutal. They weren't, I mean, you think, well, I mean, if they were Christian, they would be beautiful, kind things for the children. The nuns were like going to the army, and they would be the training sergeant. So in some of the army movies over the years, they show people in basic training, and you got a really tough army training sergeant, and that's what the nuns were like. So what happens to a nun that's like this? I mean, if they're nasty to humans, in a school, then when they're dead, they're nasty there. And then when they reincarnate as a human, what are they likely to do? Something highly negative again, because Roman Catholicism is so distorted. It's so much about control. It's control about you. It's brainwashing you into thinking, you're going to be judged for everything you do. All this stuff about sin, 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 sin. It's a horrible religion, absolutely horrible. And are there some good people that go through Roman Catholicism? I think that there still are. I think there are some people that the horrible guilt that is used, it doesn't resonate with them, and they don't pick it up. And they manage to get to the truths, which are often hidden. So anyways, I'm going to continue with what you can do if you're a light worker and you're dealing with demonic influences. Mostly it's going to be a matter of keeping yourself underwhelmed by them. because their favorite thing to do is mind games. So, they can do the physical things, the poltergeist things, and, they can do things like block you from words that you had, or, but what they'll do is that they have access to your memories. They have access to your memories, and they've got the ability to drag up your memories. And it might seem very impressive. Wow, what an impressive thing. You can go back and pull out a memory of mine from when I was 6 years old. Something I haven't remembered, but I know it's mine because when I see it, oh, it's mine. It's very impressive. And they're just grinning and they're saying, look at me, I'm so powerful. I can do this. But once you've read enough about the city powers, that's all it is. And what does it mean, really? It means they're incredibly stupid things, these demonic entities, because they basically will take all of the things that you've gone through, and they love religion because of these sinfulness, anything that's sexual, they will throw it at you, and they will. Everyone knows this, that's what they like to do. They learned it from the religionist. Anything sexual. Do they get a thrill out of it? Um, in the end, I think they're quite bored. They do it because they're bored, and they're stuck because they're in what's known as a very low vibration. It doesn't mean they're not intelligent. They can be as intelligent as any other regular human. It's just their vibration is really low. What does vibration mean? It means that's what they want to do. They want to afflict others. Do they cause disease? Yes. They cause disease in others because they take away a natural human's body balance, and they throw everything out of whack. And do they get pleasure out of it? Yes, some of them do. Some of them take great pleasure in causing pain to others, pain and suffering. This thing that I'm doing right now, this is the demon. The demon is putting a itchy feeling in my nose. I've said this in other videos. The things that they do to me, they do it 24 hours a day, and they can play with your dreams. So this particular demon is on a mission to remove any happiness from my life. They get their pleasure at removing happiness. And why is planet Earth so full of unhappiness? Because the demons are behind it. And the demons are simply humans that are dead. There's dead humans that are in other realms that have access to us here, and they play with human minds that are here as puppets for them. And then there are the living humans who are living incarnations of demonic beings. So you've got a huge battle going on. You've got living humans who are absolute, the horrible murderers, rapists, and et cetera, that are in the physical. And then in the non-physical realms, you've got these same kind of people. And what is their end game? I think it's different for each one of these people. And I think a lot of them, it's just boredom. It's, they spent lifetimes and lifetimes to acquire these city powers, superpowers, and it's very easy for them to snap their fingers and see a human suffer. And they're bored. They're so bored, that's what they do, because they're sick of just sitting in limbo. So, in the end, what's to happen with these? Well, if you can raise their vibration, their personalities will change. And, if you've got a very, very high vibration, you're going to attract a lot of these lower vibrational entities to you, because they see your aura, and it's hard to say if they feed on your aura or they just see you as a big target, because they call it brightness. So, if you do have that kind of an aura, they can sense it. It's just like when you walk into a room if it's full of a very toxic people that have been fighting, and I mean they're just grinding away at each other, sniping at each other all day long. You walk into the room where they are and you go, oh, the energy in here is horrible. I don't like, it's just gross. These people are gross. I don't want to be near them. Even if they're not talking, you can feel it. It's like walking into a room and people say, you could cut it like a knife. And it's not, it's the energy in the air, and it's the toxic feeling. Some people call it low vibration, but it's just that these very negative emotional states that they use. Some of these beings don't use emotions. They're very mental beings, and they don't. I mean, they can use emotions to throw shit at you, but they're not driven by emotions. They're driven by their intellect, and it's a very strange thing, but the intellect is not the highest form of consciousness. And so, very highly intellectual people have got rigid intellectual opinions. So that's why, even in academia, in universities, there's schools of thought. And certain professors hate other professors. They do. It's hatred. And it comes because I'm in one school of thought and you're in another school of thought. And they'll never surrender, and they don't want to put themselves in the other person's shoes. So intellect is not anything what we would call highly conscious, which is what I used to say was love. But love, people have a hard time with love because they say, well, I love you, to someone they picked up off the street and took home and had a quick screw with. It's not love for most of them anyways. But it's not romantic love, and it's just not love you. It's not that kind of thing, empty promises. It's more expanded consciousness. And the thing is that these professors, they don't have a very high vibration. These are professors that get hired by the military to create bombs and special guns and tanks and aircraft and radar guided weapons, bioterrorism, chemical weapons, nuclear weapons. So very intelligent with the intellect, but lacking wisdom. So what else did you want to talk about? How are you going to deal with these demonics? They have to be treated like they're individuals. And because they were people. Either they are people at the current time. There's some movies, these horror movies, where someone's locked up in a prison cell and they spend their whole time meditating, and what they're meditating on is basically creating more evil. So is that yes, absolutely possible. The power of the mind. How is it that they broke the 2-minute mile? It was the power of the mind combined with a workable body. And the stories of the cities are unbelievable. Levitation and teleportation, creating things out of thin air, because that's just the way things work with mind. And in our regular world, it's just like the Harry Potter world. In the Harry Potter movies, there's the wizarding world and there's the Muggles world. We live in a Muggles world, and we're taught not to believe that magic exists. But it does. It really does. So, and are there, good magicians and black magicians? Absolutely. Just like in Harry Potter. So, is there like an ultimate God, like the Roman Catholic says, that can stop all of this? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. There really is nothing there. There is a lot of stories about powerful gods. But, the stories of the powerful gods are all that they are They have human personalities. So a human personality is not capable of being God. Can they rise in consciousness to such state that they appear as God? Yes. Or an angel? Yes. They can have the abilities, and they could appear to a regular person as a godlike being. And seemingly, like I said, if the demons can pull up all the history on you, and they can pull up all the history of the world, and it's in the end, the reason that the demons are still negatively charged and going after other people is because they're mentally ill. So, you can use your mind to develop all these superpowers, these city powers. I watched a video by Sadhguru, who is the YouTube guy from India who talks about a lot of wisdom. And Sadhguru said, we won't have anybody in our organization who uses meditation to harm other beings. And that implies that there are people in the Sadhguru organization who can tell who are these negatively charged beings. Can I tell if there's a negatively charged human around? Yes. I'm empathic. If you're an empathic person, you get a feel for people. Some people are very good at hiding. These are the classically known as wolves in sheep's clothing. And they can hide, and they can appear to be very nice. And especially when you're a child, you can get tricked by these things. But once you've got a certain number of years on the planet under your belt, they're much harder, or they have a much harder time hiding from you. It's just because of your experience with them, and so when you look at politicians, like the stupidest thing going around is this QAnon thing that says, that Donald Trump is here to save the world. And, they put all these cryptic messages out. And then there's so-called spiritual people who say, oh, well, I mean, it's just a matter of time when Donald Trump's people are going to round up all of the deep state, and they're going to start with Hillary Clinton, and they're going to literally lock up Hillary Clinton in Guantanamo Bay, and then they're going to have a military trial, and then they're going to assassinate Hillary Clinton. This is what these so-called spiritual people talk about. It's all over the internet. And, Trump is their hero. He's going to make America great. These are incredibly stupid people, because Donald Trump is not a smart man. He talks out of both sides of his face. He lies continuously. He appoints horrible people that don't even pass through the corrupt Congress. How bad the people are. He's an incredibly stupid man. And, it's just like his TV show. He's constantly firing people because he's the biggest ego. He's got a huge ego, and he doesn't want America to be great again. He just wants more attention for himself. He's an attention whore. So I'm sorry if you think that, he's going to be the savior of the world. He's not, and he's not in an alliance with extraterrestrials or anything else. He's just a stupid, fat old man that should have been put in a mental home a long time ago. And as far as his reputation as being absolutely detestable to women, yes. Yes, he is. And the truth of the matter is there was a lot of people in his generation that are just the same as him. And even today, there's plenty of people like him. And, in Earth terms, I think it's a growth thing because pretty much every young man, every boy and young man with peer pressure learns to be a Donald Trump. And it takes time and experience and reflection to see, the way that we were as teenagers or, drunk people in their 20s in the bars, we were really nasty. And vice versa. It wasn't like the women were they were just as nasty as the men. Nasty, nasty, nasty. So just because you're female doesn't mean that you get off the hook and not having a huge negative ego, because there's plenty of horrible, nasty women. And my background, because I was, I sent to Sunday school as a child, um, and the women in my family were generally, um, well, there's a mixed bag, I suppose, but it was a big shock to me when I saw how horrible women could be, because I could see it with men, and a lot of times it was just getting along with the men, locker room talk and stuff. But some of the women, not all, I mean, some, it's just like anything, but it just means what I'm trying to get at is your gender doesn't make you a better person. Getting back to demonic entities and how to deal with them, in the end, they all have to be looked at individually. And if they're a group gang, then it becomes an endurance thing with them, enduring them. When are they ever going to change their ways? I think they will never change their ways, some of them. Some of them are going to be eternally horrible creatures. Some of them might get bored with being horrible and go the other way. It's just like humans. Upon reflection, um, if you've had a lot of, you know, a lot of bad history as being a bad apple, and then some people have a change of heart. I mean, they're just sick of it. They're tired of it, and they get sick of the people they're around. And I think that's what happens with these ones that I'm calling demonic beings. They get sick of the ones that they're always around. Um, they tend to enjoy the presence of the people they're haunting more than they like other demonics, because the other demonics they great. It's just what I said before about when you go into a room with two people who are constantly bickering and fighting at one another. You hate to be in their presence. And I think that's what happens with these negative entities is they look at the other ones and they go, I can't fucking stand you. You're a fucking nightmare. And I think that's what happens. It's the negativity drives them finally insane so much that they say, I can't stand it anymore. I know I've been a horrible, horrible, and I've enjoyed it for a long time. But if it means that I'm going to be around all of you horrible, horrible things, I'm tired of you. I need a change. I need a vacation from you. So how am I going to get a vacation? I'm going to go and find somebody that I used to haunt and say, hey, I don't want to haunt you. I just want to say, looking back when I was haunting you, I really liked you. I really liked you. And now that I've kind of figured out that I don't like the kind of person I was and the people I was hanging out with that was, highly negative towards you, I just wanted to say hi. I just wanted to say, uh, I like you. I like the way you are. You're pleasant. So in the end, I think that's what happens in the endurance race. The highly negative beings, they fight amongst each other, and their habits drive the other negative entities insane. Because some of them, I've got some of the ones here, they use the same phrases a million times. I've heard them use the same phrases a million times. And, for me, at some point I was going like, God, are they ever going to change? And it keeps going, it keeps going. And after it's gone on for 3 years of them doing the same thing, you do develop some tolerance for it. And there's really, there's times some of them come and some of them go. And I think what happens is they come And they can't stand the ones that are doing like the major haunting. They're just sick of it. They're so sick of these same people. They're just sick of it. They can't stand to be in the presence of these ones. And they might still be very negatively charged. They're just, I can't stand that other evil being. I just can't stand them. They drive me crazy. And so, in the end, that's how it all goes. The ones that are highly negatively charged drive the other ones crazy. And sooner or later, they realize the only escape from constantly bumping into highly negative demonic entities is to go the other way. In other words, stop being demonic. How many years are they going to hold out being highly negatively charged? Sometimes the humor comes out. Sometimes a highly charged demonic being will either say something and I'll laugh, or some situation will happen and we'll all laugh. And that breaks a lot of the tension. And they might be a while before they go back to what's known as the cycle of abuse. And if you study anything to do with social sciences, you know the cycle of abuse. It goes from highly abusive, terrible, horrible things, beating up on one another, to a stage where they're done beating up on each other. They take a break. And sometimes some of them are going back and they go, oh, please forgive me. I'm sorry. I'll never do that again. And then they'll have what's known as a honeymoon period where nothing much happens. And then somehow the negativity returns and they go back to beating each other up. And this cycle goes on and on and it goes on. And it's taught from parent, it's taught to children that are in the family. And that's why we have all these cycles of abuse that go through families. In the end, if you're dealing with what you think is a demonic possession, what should you do? I always say the best medication for anything is meditation. Because if you're under demonic attack, they'll try everything. But if you're a good meditator, you'll still suffer with it. It's not pleasant. You know, the physical symptoms that they'll throw at you and the things that they can do with you, the different things that they first get into you, and when they can shut off your memories and they can cut you off from your humanhood. That's what they do. They'll cut you off from your humanhood so you won't even have access to your thinking. But in the end, it's a meditation, and you just wait them out. In the end, they can't beat meditation. It's the ultimate medication for the mind. I'm Harry.